The history of, like, we'll call them guitar Leslies. CBS owned Fender and Leslie at the same time in the late 60s. I think they started making the Vibratone and the Leslie in 67. They are pretty much exactly the same unit, except for minor differences, mostly cosmetic. The Fender Vibratone is a front loader. The Leslie 16 is a back loader, rear loader. They both have a speaker that sits vertically instead of horizontally like a traditional organ Leslie, and there's a styrofoam baffle with a scoop in it that spins in front of the speaker and just slings the sound around. There's a bunch of different ways to set up a Leslie to run. You can run it on a crossover, which cuts the mids. If you're using a stock crossover, it'll pull the mids out of your signal going to your cabinet. And then it'll still send the lows and the highs to your guitar's actual speaker, like whether it be the combo speaker or the cabinet. So you have your foot switch, which does, the bypass of the crossover, or it engages the crossover, and you have the speed switch. Instead of like a traditional Leslie, where you would mic like the back, or just the top or whatever, you mic the sides of these. I call them the windows. There's a window on the top and there's two longer windows on the side. You can't mic it 360 like you could with another one and get like some type of weird effects going, but you can do like mic it on 180 on the sides, and you can get the phasing, like the ping back and forth. Like that's typically what I do live, is I'll mic mine. I have brackets mounted on it, and so I have the sound guy, wherever we were playing, just pan it hard right and left. I'm kicking it on. So, if you want to do really trippy stuff, you just like hit it on slow and it's constantly going back and forth to the crowd. Or you can just put on one side and you'll have the more traditional Leslie effect, because you'll hear it leaving and then coming back. Because if you mic at 180 and have those mics on all the time, it'll just like, here, it's here, it's here, it's here. But like with how you actually hear a Leslie in person is that it goes away and then it comes back. I'm a huge David Gilmour fan. My first concert was Pink Floyd when I was 12. I remember deciding that I was going to play guitar for a living, watching him play the end of Comfortably Numb. This giant disco ball opened like an iris in the middle of the stadium. I was like, anyway, so when I'm playing stuff that's like the long echo, the Gilmour kind of effects, I'll kick it on slow. When you have both mics on, mic'd 180, and it's going back and forth, it's just like, and you have like a long echo on the amp that's not going through that, you just get this like trip out, I run a multi-amp setup live, and I'd like to set like one effect, but not to the other, you know, so it makes like this aural illusion, as it were. I don't know if that makes sense. But with a Leslie, when you add like heavy reverb or an effect to one side, especially the heavy reverb, is when you get like that like late 60s psychedelic organ sound where it sounds like, kind of like Echoes by Pink Floyd, how that organ sounds like it's in a cave. Like, I love that stuff, man, and that's how you do it. There's this amazing simulators, and believe me, for a lot of fly-in stuff, like fly-out dates, that will save your life. But like compared to the real thing, it's like, it's not even apples and oranges. It's just like, you know, a Yugo versus a Rolls Royce. Like, oh yeah, well that's great, you know, like that's the real thing. Just have to say I've never ridden in a Rolls Royce or a Yugo. It's just a comparison, so write me some letters.